Hello and welcome to the Catch a Lift Coaches Corner. I'm Cal Coach and Program Director Melissa, and this week I'm honored to welcome Rich LaMonica to the show. Rich is a retired U.S. Army veteran, podcaster, Cal veteran athlete, and so very much more. Welcome to this week's episode of the Coaches Corner.
Thank
Rich,
you.
welcome.
Thanks for having me on here. It's an honor to come back and give back to Cal after all they've done for me.
Oh, we're so excited to talk to you today, Rich. Thank you for taking the time. Let's jump right in.
All right.
Rich, do you want to start today? Talk to us a little bit about your life growing up and what would ultimately lead you to the U.S. Army.
Oh, sure. I grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey. My mom and dad, hard workers. My dad served in the Army just prior to Vietnam. My grandfather served in World War II. My brother joined the Navy. So I knew all along I was going to be a military person.
Yeah.
So I'd watch, I forget which war it was. We were watching on TV. I think it's probably something in Israel we watched on TV when I was little that I would remember. And I told my dad, I want to be a soldier. So I just that was my whole mindset growing up. I'm going to be a soldier. So we'd go outside, play war. And we had this thing across the street called the Bowl. It was urban weeds and stuff like that. It wasn't a real park. It was dangerous.
Okay.
It was in the middle of the city, right next to railroad tracks. But we'd go out there and we'd play war.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So I got to high school. I took all the classes that just get you out of high school. So I was taking shop, graphic arts, and all that stuff. And then just before junior year, I told my dad I'm going to go to a recruiter to sign up for the Army. And he said, no, you're not. I said, what do you mean? So you got to wait till you're 18 and I don't want you joining. So junior year, I still slept off. And senior year, I said, Dad, this is it. I have to do it now. I'm going to sign up. He said, enough of us had served. You're going to college. I said, Dad, I've done nothing to go to college. Nothing. So he said, you better get your books right and get everything done. So I wound up my senior year. I took 3 sciences and 2 maths when everyone else was having a good senior year.
Yeah, coasting out the end. Oh,
I was studying. I didn't know what I was actually doing. I was doing biology, chemistry, general sciences. And then I took the SATs and I almost slept through it. My dad woke me up 20 minutes before. I had to run to the school, take the test, and I barely made it through. And I got into a business school. I got in. I said, Dad, I'm in school. He said, all right, how are you going to pay for it? I said, you wanted me to go. And he said, well, you're in it. You're an adult now. You got to pay for school. I said, oh, great. So I did the financial aid thing. I did the business school for a year, and then I transferred to a local college, St. Peter's College. And as I'm waiting in line to sign up for class, my cousin was going there. She's like, they're doing football tryouts. I said, all right, I'll go do that. That'll be fun at least. I'll hit somebody while I'm in school. So I said, here's my paperwork to get me signed up for classes. I'll go sign up for football. So she signed me up for every director of every class. So every head of department, she gave me those classes. And I was down there just signing up for football as a walk-on. So for 2 years, I did that. About 2 years in, I joined the reserves. I finally said, this is it for me. I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
So I joined the reserves, and I did that for about 18 months. And I kept going and I said, Dad, look, I have to go. I can't live in the city no more. I got to get out of here. I'm not making good choices. I got to go. So I signed up for the active duty, and I reported to Fort Stewart, Georgia in 1993.
That's incredible. That's a really interesting journey it took there, especially, Rich, like your whole life, right? Like soldier was in your blood. Like this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah, my dream was to be a soldier or a fireman, and I was definitely afraid of fire, so I knew soldier was the best thing.
Soldier was the natural path.
Right.
So talk to us, what would happen, when you'd become active duty, you get to that first duty station, what would come next for you, Rich? What was your MOS?
I was a chemical operations specialist. In the beginning, it was called nuclear, biological, and chemical, and then it was chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear as I got towards the end of my career.
Talk to us about what is that, Rich?
All right, so when I got to my first duty station at Fort Stewart, I was in 315th Infantry, and I was the CBRN or NBC NCO, so I made sure every soldier had a mask that worked, a protective mask that worked for them, and detecting equipment that worked, so if there was a chemical attack, there would have a way to find it or notice it before it killed them. And I trained him on that, and I also I was the favorite guy who ran the gas chamber.
So, oh my gosh, that's you?
Yeah, I was that guy.
You're that guy?
I was that guy. So I got to stand in the gas chamber and push people through and laugh at them. But I ran it so much there that I got so used to it, I wouldn't wear my mask.
No kidding.
I just stand there. So they come in and be positive and so confident that there was nothing in there because I was wearing a mask. And they take theirs off and
just start choking out.
Yeah, and I'd laugh and they'd run out. There's always a tree. At that time, they didn't care about safety, so they built this with a tree outside the exit door. So as they run out that exit door, bam, right into the tree.
Oh my gosh.
We'd always laugh at them, and then I'd go to the DFAC with all the CS on me and sit next to people and eat my lunch, and they were like a gift that keeps on giving.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So my first few duty stations, I was the CBRN or NBC-NCO, but I also was learning different skills. Like when I was with the 315th Infantry, I learned leadership and infantry tactics.
Okay.
Then I went to Korea. I was with the Air Defense Artillery Unit, Patriot missiles. So I learned about protecting from the air. I never even thought of that aspect, and I didn't think it was really a thing. I thought it was just Air Force that did that stuff. And so I did that, and I came back to Fort Campbell where I am now, and I was in the infantry again. And this time was light. So as soon as I got there, I got all spit shined. My boots were shined up nice, but no one was at the unit when I got here. They were in the field. And I'm sitting there, the new guy, and the people on rear deer in the rear. First sergeant comes in. He said, "You're my new NBC guy?" I said, "Yeah." So grab your ruck. We're going to the field. I said, "I just got here, first sergeant, so I don't care." So let's go. He said, "You got 20 minutes to get your stuff together. We're going to the field." I was gone for 30 days.
Welcome. That's a welcome for you. Yeah.
So I was like, "Wow, you're an awesome dude. This is great." So that was my introduction to Fort Campbell and the infantry here, and I learned a lot from that unit. And I used that unit as my base of mentorship. So I had great mentors in that unit. They taught me They taught me how to really be a soldier, I think, in that unit, and taught me how to lead, how to take care of soldiers, and how to move forward and still bring them with me so they can pass me up and take the torch later in life.
Right.
And after that, I went to an actual chemical company after that on Fort Campbell, and I had that infantry mentality when I went there. So I guess I would be called a rogue leader when I got there. So I was just yelling at everybody because that's what you do in the infantry. Yell at them, get them to do stuff. Then you get down there, and it's a calmer, gentler place. And the first one I got, "Hey, you can't do that here. You can't do that here." I was like, "They're soldiers. We're soldiers. We don't get paid to do." You said you don't want to do it here if you want to stay in the Army. So, oh, great, wonderful. So I lasted there until they sent me to Fort Riley from there.
Okay.
In Fort Riley, I went to a staff position and then to a decom platoon where we were always understaffed and we had to do things by the seat of our pants all the time. And which with that platoon, I went on 9/11. I was on the border of Kuwait and Iraq when 9/11 occurred with this platoon. We called ourselves the Dirty Decon Dozen. So we were out there and we were just doing our normal training because that's all it was at that time. It was a training event, basically.
Okay.
And then our lieutenant called and said, "You got to come back. We're under attack. We're at Threat Con Delta." I said, "No, we're not. No, we're not. Stop messing around." Because he was always a jokester.
Yeah.
So we flew back. We drove back to the Cabal, it was called, get through the gate and get to our little hooch. I said, "Sir, what's going on?" I said, "The World Trade Center's been hit." I said, "What?" I said, "You're lying, sir." I said, "I grew up. That was my backyard. The World Trade Center was my backyard." I said, "Don't mess around." I was starting getting belligerent with him, yelling, and then I told one of my young sergeants, I said, "Go to the CNN tent. It's a little tent with CNN on all the time."
Right. Yep.
I said, "Go see if it's real." He came back and said, "Sergeant, be quiet. It's real. It's real." So by the time I got to the tent, when the second tower had fallen, I said, "Wow." I said, "We're under attack." So we went from basically a cool little training operational deployment to, "Hey, you're the frontline guys now. Here's real ammo. Here, everything's locked down. You lost the ice cream truck. Deal with it."
Yeah.
So that was our switch turned on, and you could see the faces, a lot of the young soldiers, because it's unknown at that point. You don't know what's going on. We really had no communication with the outside world, and everything was flowing through, I guess, the SIPR channels, the secret channels. Hey, this is what happened today. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is what might happen. And then you start seeing all the international forces come in. That's when we knew it was real. Everyone was getting involved in the game, and we knew things were going to get hyped up at this time. And then by December, all this training, all this getting ready, they sent us back to Fort Riley. They said, "Look, you guys got to go back to Fort Riley and get ready to train to go to war." And it didn't resonate well with us.
Right.
We were already there.
Sure.
We were
You've
the first
been there.
ones
Yeah.
And then, okay, you're going to go train up, and then you're going to go to NTC so you can learn how to fight in the desert, and like raising our hands. We were in the desert. We were already there. Okay, we'll do it. So then we trained up, and then I left the actual decon unit. I went to we were actually at NTC when Dale Earnhardt died. Actually, that's how I referenced that one. So Dale Earnhardt died at Daytona in 2003, and I was there. That's how I found out. I was a little radio inside her truck. I said, "What? He died? Oh my God!" And then we went through the whole thing in NTC. Came back, trained up, and they sent me up to the brigade to become the brigade's NBC NCO, as well as the PSD for the S3 night TAC NCO. When we deployed, I'd left in August of 2003. The rest of the unit got there September I flew right into Baghdad. They flew into Kuwait, and I just convoyed right to Ramadi, Iraq, which is a wonderful place. They call it restive. It's I don't not sure. I always thought restive was something different. But
Right?
it was pretty violent, pretty a volatile area because it was the
Yeah.
Sunni Triangle. It's all of
Yep.
Saddam's loyalists were there, and we got in there. We started getting set up, and my guys started driving up from Kuwait at two in an up armored Humvee, and they got hit with one of the first IEDs. And it was just mostly blessed. Both their eardrums got blown out. They left right from there to Kuwait back to Fort Riley. We never seen them again. But their bags came forward, and we were able to go through them, do the inventory, take all their lickies and chewies because they wouldn't do them,
Right.
and we spread them out. So that spread some joy at a time when things were a little chaotic and the unknown of what was going on with them.
Right.
And we signed the inventory, said thank you to them, and sent the bags back. And then we went on that journey of that tour was pretty wild. A lot of ebbs and flows in that tour. I was with First Infantry Division, First Brigade, First Infantry Division out of Fort Riley. The other two brigades were in Germany at the time. And at first, we were assigned to the 82nd Airborne, and 82nd Airborne thinks they're above God and all that stuff. And then they left, and we got the First Marine Division and General Mattis, and it was a totally different ball game. And they came in the end of December to January. They started pushing out. We were telling them where not to go in Ramadi. Don't go here alone. Don't go here. Things will happen. And being Marines, they would go where those things were happening and do this and do that. And a lot of firefights were happening, little skirmishes until April, right after you probably remember when the Blackwater guys got ambushed and they got hung off the bridge. So that was right outside our sector between us and Fallujah. We were the first ones there. We seen it. We were there for the cutting down of them. And as we drove back, things started getting volatile throughout the region. So everything started amping up. So April 6th of 2003, the battle for Ramadi started. The insurgents launched a huge complex attack on the Marines. The Marines were on their daily patrols. They had, I think, 3 platoons out at once from a golf company. They came out, and all 3 platoons were hit at some point during this patrol. One was hit more than the other 2, and they were bogged down because of all the chaos in the city.
Right.
We were doing a joint effort with the Iraqi government, the pseudo Iraqi government in the area, to try to get them involved. And we can hear a gunfire. I started listening to the radio, can hear what's going on. So I ran and told the sergeant major. He said, "Get ready to go." We went back to our base, Fob Junction City, geared up, and then went right back into the fight. So we were out there for about 13 hours in the fight that day.
Wow.
And it was just a brutal fight, city fighting, urban fighting. And a lot of us weren't exposed to that. We were exposed to Cold War tactics, face-to-face fighting. Everything's going to be linear. You're going to do this. And this was the first asymmetric battle we were in. So you're getting shot at from above, from in front of you, from behind you, and you don't know who's who because they're all dressed the same.
Exactly.
You don't know who the enemy is. And a lot of choices had to be made on the fly. You don't have a lot of time to make those decisions. So a lot of things were happening that day. I think we lost 13 Marines that day alone. The first one I ran into was PFC Derek Halal. He was in the middle of an alleyway. He got hit by a sniper, and they couldn't get to him because there was so much heavy fire. So we ran out there. We grabbed him under fire and brought him back. Got him to the aid vehicle to get him out of there.
Right.
So he's not in the middle of the road, still getting pop shot at. Got him out, and the day just went on and on. And we were running out of ammo, running back, just throwing magazines to people, and they'd throw them back to us. Load up and go. Gatorade was I don't know where Gatorade was coming from, but they were throwing us bottles of Gatorade. I was like, "This is awesome. I like this stuff. It's like a rainbow."
Right. Yeah.
And it didn't really catch up till that night when we finally got back to base and you let it go. The adrenaline pops out. You're like, "Whew, somehow we made that. How did we get through it? No one else, and these other guys didn't."
Right.
And then we just kind of trudged through. And then the 11th, we were right back at it again. And it started again. It was Route Apple. It was called along the Euphrates River. And with the Marines, again, they were starting to clear out the people who were involved in that last fight, and it just went bad right away. And we were in that fight again for probably another 6 to 8 hours in that fight in Ramadi.
Wow. Thank you for telling us about that, Rich.
No problem.
Wow. So, Rich, you would go on and you would deploy multiple more times.
Yes.
Would you talk to us a little bit about those deployments and touch on too, Rich, how they would differ?
Okay. All right, so my next one, I was in Korea from 2008 to 2010, doing staff work basically in Korea. And then I was given they asked me where I wanted to go from there. So I'd like to go to Germany. There's a requisition open to go to Germany.
Okay.
So, well, we can't send you to Germany because they're deploying too quick and your family won't have time to get settled. They're going to leave within 60 days. I said, so where can I go? They said, well, Fort Campbell. Fort Campbell has openings. I said, okay, we've been there before. That's good.
Yeah.
So I get to Fort Campbell. As soon as I sign in, you'll be gone in 60 days. I said, what's the difference?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So from the time I signed in to Fort Campbell to the time I left was 60 days. The unit was already in Kandahar, Afghanistan at the time in a pretty good fight. This was during the surge in 2010.
Okay.
And so they were fighting along the whole Kandahar region there. I get to Fob Wilson, and I'm the new guy, the new sergeant first class on the ground. And they weren't expecting me there. They didn't know I was coming in because they already had deployed. They weren't getting the reports correct.
Right.
I sent my squad leader over because she was also on rear D with me. She got there about 2 weeks before me, and she was just trying to get things going. She's doing great, doing things. I get there, and my first day there, they shoot rockets at us. About my first day there, I said, "Oh, welcome to Afghanistan. This is awesome." I said, "Welcome." And I started walking around. My first sergeant took me. He said, "I want you to just check things out. Just walk around, check things out, see what's going on here."
Yeah.
He didn't tell me any ideas, none of his ideas for me. So I just walked around taking notes, what I see, what I think needs to be repaired. I think it was August 15th or something, or September 15th. They had given us intel that they were going to attack the base that day at a certain time, 8 o'clock in the morning, or 8 or 8:30. And exactly that time, rockets came in and hit a tent. I was like, these dudes are on the clock.
Right. No kidding.
These are way better than Iraqi force. They stick with timelines. And it hit the tent. The tent was, well, of course, there's no soldiers in it, thankfully, at the time, but all the gear was in there. Some ammo was in there. So it was burning. So we're running in there trying to get their gear out as much as possible and put the fire out. And then right there, I met my new platoon. I didn't realize this was my new platoon, but I met them that day. And I seen them in action. I seen them running into this fire. I seen them get the fire, get the hoses out, and just start putting that fire out without caring for themselves. They went in there to do it all for the other people they don't even know.
Yeah.
And nothing stopped them. I said, "This is pretty cool. This is a good group of dudes." And first time I was like, "Well, that's your platoon." He said, "You're not a force protection killer platoon." It's all right. We got this.
Yeah.
So basically, my platoon was everyone's soldiers that they didn't want. It was like the island of misfit toys. Every soldier was from a different MOS. I had mechanics, had cooks, I had CBurn guys, I had MPs, I had everything in that platoon. And so we just had to bond together and just become one island of misfit toys. And every day I'd take one of them on a run and talk to them. Say, "Hey, what are we doing? What's going on in your life? How you like the Army? Blah blah blah." And that's how I started to bond with the leaders first, then the soldiers. Like, this dude's crazy. He gets up at 3 a.m, goes running. I'm up at 3 a.m, because I don't sleep. That's why. So,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
And we went through that deployment. It was a pretty rough deployment for the brigade. We lost 65 guys in the brigade.
Oh my gosh.
100 and something for the actual 101st Division during that time frame. My soldier was actually, I think, the 101st or 101st that got killed that year. So it was December 31st. A few weeks earlier, our engineer company needed NCOs, and he was striving. He wanted to get out of it. He wanted to be an engineer. That was his life. He was a sapper. And he fought to go there, and we got him in there. Got him back in, and he was on patrol, and they were clearing a compound. Him and a lieutenant were the first ones in, and one or both of them stepped on the pressure plate. He was, of course, taken from us right there. The lieutenant became a triple amputee. And one of his guys had to sit back and watch because there was more IEDs. They couldn't get to him for a while. They had to clear like 6 IEDs to get there. And I got the call that we lost him. And I had to hold that because you can't really tell anyone until the family knows.
Yeah.
You can't spread it. So I had to go to each leader, pull them aside, and say, "Look, we got to keep this quiet. We got to keep the soldiers strong. We got to keep this going. We can't lose it right now. We have a lot of momentum right now. We can't lose this." And that was December 31st. We didn't leave till April. So keeping everyone's head straight for that time, the 4 months, without causing third order effects by doing something insane outside the wire or doing something to an Afghan local that would have repercussions for everybody. It was a difficult task, but I knew my platoon was strong enough to do that. And we fought through those last 4 months very well. And we actually became very tight. And that's where the Misfit Nation comes from.
I was going to ask you, I'm like, was this the birth of the Misfit Nation?
It is. It's exactly the birth of the
Misfit Nation. That's incredible. Wow.
That's it. And then that one, we came home April. You do all the memorial services when you get back, and they had a huge one. And that's when it really hit me at the memorial service, when you're used to seeing the older NCOs if they get killed, their wives are a little older and stuff like that, or the officers are a little older. But there was a lot of young girls that were their spouses, that maybe 19 years old, 20 years old. And you see their faces, like, dang, my daughter's 16.
Right. Yeah.
These girls are not much older than her,
No.
and they're babies, and their life is just, they become a widow as a baby. And you just look in the loss in their eyes, and all right, we got to keep pushing forward, make sure we do the right things for their husbands, for their brothers, and make sure everything's right moving forward. I think we were home 6 months, and we got tagged again. Like, oh, you guys have an advisor mission. This was December, so we got to November. We got to meet Herschel Walker, so it was pretty cool. Herschel Walker came, gave us a speech, talked to us, got a picture with us. This dude's awesome.
Nice,
He's
yeah.
like a brick shit. He's built. This dude's worked out. And then the next month we go to the same theater. So, who are we going to meet this time? You guys are deploying. So, whoa, all right. So we haven't even been home a year.
Yeah.
This is good. And we went back as advisors. And this is right at 2012 now.
Okay.
At a time when a lot of the green on blue attacks were happening. A lot of the Afghan against Army, our forces attacks were happening, insider threats and stuff. So now we're going to be embedded with units as 12 to 14 man teams. And I'm like, oh, this is great. This is wonderful. I lost a lot of confidence there, thinking a lot of my friends that I lost died on their third or fourth deployment. This is going to be my fourth deployment. I said, this is it for me. You can't keep going back to the well and
right.
You don't come back whole that many times. And I had one of my soldiers, Chantel Cumming, now Watts. She said, Son, you got to get your head straight. You're better than this. You got to do this. And she wasn't deploying, but she was pushing me. And when I got there, I was on the ground. I think we were on our COP 2 days, and a mortar attack happened after we came off patrol, and I got hit. And that was my wake-up call. Getting wounded was my wake-up call. I stood there. My medic was right in front of me when I got hit. I put my hand on his shoulder. I said, look, go help someone else because you're pale right now. Go help somebody else. I'll take care of me. I took my tourniquet out, put it on, and went inside, and my lieutenants were in there, 2 of our lieutenant advisors. They looked at it. They say, hey, Sergeant, you need to sit down. They poured some water on it, cleaned it up. I said, it's just a scratch. Nothing's wrong with me. I'm good. And then we went through the fight. We were doing counterfire, taking care of everybody else.
Right.
And, there's an SF team on our COP as well. And the medic came up and said, hey, Sergeant, you know what gangrene is? I said, yeah. He said, do you want it? No. Get on the bird. So I got on the bird, and they segregated us. There's 30 guys that had concussions. And then one guy got hit in the neck, a contractor. It was really bad. And then me, I thought I was just going to get like a little Band-Aid or something, a little cut, a little Neosporin or something. They put me in the surgical ward. So why am I going in here? You have stuff in your legs, aren't you? I said, really? No, you guys are joking. I said, why don't you give me, and I told the medic, I said, give me your cell phone. So I know you have one. And I called my wife, and I said, look, remember that license plate we talked about getting? The Purple Heart license plate. And she said, what? I said, we're getting one now. And
Jeez.
Went,
That's how you told her? You called her and told her you were getting the license plate?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the phone, of course, got disconnected. I said, hey man, dial that number again quick before that medication kicks in. I said, look, I'm talking to you. I'm fine. I'm good. I just want to do it lightly.
Oh my gosh, Rich.
Yeah. So I went through surgery. I came out, and I guess I was coming out of the anesthesia and all the other pain meds they gave me. And they kept saying, your first sergeant wants to talk to you. I said, well, I am the first sergeant. Because I'm the team sergeant. I can't call myself. I said, I'm not calling myself. You're messing with me right now, right? No, they've been calling you the whole time. So I said, all right. I said, show me where I can call them. I've never been on crutches in my life. So now here I am, doped up on crutches, trying to walk to this phone. I get there. They dial the number back, and it's my command group. We just have one question. Did you want to evac? No. All right, I won $5. And that's it. And so they were the same way I was. The whole team was the same way. And
yeah.
And then they said, all right, you can go. You're never going to run again. I said, I have to run. I'm a soldier. And I said, yeah, I'll take that challenge. So I went back to my COP. I got back to my COP about 32 hours after denying going to Germany and denying going all the way home. I said, I got to stay with my team. So I'd wake up early. I'd go on the treadmill. I'd walk just to get the swelling down and everything, get the momentum going. I did a little virtual 5K with Anniston, Alabama, with Anniston Running Club, the Woodstock 5K. I did that virtually with them.
Oh, very cool.
And then I actually organized the 5K there that's done here in Clarksville, so my guys can do it, got shirts for them and everything. And then when I came home, I said, I got to have a goal. I got to get back to the marathon. Because before I deployed, I did the St. Louis Marathon in honor of my soldier who was killed.
Okay.
I said, now I'm wounded. Let's do another one. Yeah. So I did a half, and then I did the full marathon in Savannah, Georgia. And I ran with my wife, and it was amazing. And I didn't feel the run at all. it was just, I was running on a cloud the whole
Oh
time.
my God, that's incredible.
You run through the whole thing. I came through the finish. I was like, this is awesome. This is what life's about. I can still do it. If I can do it, everyone can do it. And I started that journey at that point.
Wow. Rich, so you would retire from the Army. Talk to us about what would come for you after that retirement.
So I retired in June of 2015, and you watch a lot of your buddies retire, and they all somehow fall into God's graces into a great job. As soon as they hang up their boots, they get into a job. I said, that's going to happen to me. I have all the same skills. Everything's going to be the same. So I had my resume, what I thought was a good resume, and I had all these skills. I got out June 30th, 2015, and I had a wall. I got out. I didn't know what to do with my hands. No one was biting. No one was saying, yes, we want you. So for 365 days, I was unemployed. I was a slug on the couch, and my wife was getting angry. You need to get out of here. You need to do something. You got to get out. You can't just sit here and drink with the dogs. And me and my dogs would just sit there, watch TV and drink, and I'd search for jobs and apply, and nothing would happen. I said, man, no one likes me. So I went through Hire Heroes USA. I sent them what I had as what I thought was a good resume.
Right.
And they rewrote it, came back to me. I said, this doesn't even sound like me. and immediately I started getting hits. I was like, wow, that's good. So, and then we went on a retreat with the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation, me and my wife. They sent us to Destin, Florida in a condo. And we were there for, I think, a weekend, a Wednesday to Sunday, something like that. And we were having a good time. And one of their staffers was down there to make sure everything was good. Her name is Michelle, great person. And she said, are you looking for work? I said, yes. By God, yes.
Yeah.
I said, I think I got an opportunity for you. There's a place called the Mission Continues that has fellowships to help soldiers and sailors and Marines as they transition through.
Right.
So I applied for that, and I started that in January of 2016. So it was supposed to be 6 months of volunteering, basically. So at the Red Cross here in town, I said, I'll give back to them since they helped me. They flew me back from Korea twice for emergency leave. I've seen what they did for so many soldiers while we're deployed to get them home and get messages to them and stuff. So I started working with them. I had my degree in emergency management. I said, so this is a perfect fit. So I was putting all kinds of hours, and I was treating it like a job and not just a volunteer opportunity.
Right. Yeah.
I was doing about 4 hours a day. I was doing almost 8 hours a day. I was having a great time. And then I got an opportunity to get to a interview for a job up in D.C. for their Homeland Security Emergency Management position. So I drove from Tennessee up there, all pumped up. I'm going to get this job.
Yeah.
I got an interview. This is it. I finally got one. I got in there, and the first question I asked, what college did you go to? I said, Ashford University. Ooh. I said, what's that mean? And then I never got a call back. So, wow, just like that. So I was driving back. I went to West Virginia to my in-laws' house to stop for the night. And the guy who was my fellowship coordinator for the Mission Continues called me and said, we have a position open. You need to apply for this.
Nice. So
I applied, went home. Me and my wife went on another retreat with the Wounded Warrior Project this time, and it was down in Mississippi. It was like a Warrior Quest kind of thing. We were out there. We're doing rappelling and all that stuff. And he calls me and said, you got an interview on this day. I said, I get home. Oh, it's Friday. So I get home Thursday night to Nashville, and the interview was Friday in St. Louis. I said, okay, I'll do it. So we get home late Thursday night. I said, you know what? I don't have a suit. I don't have anything ready. So I'm up there ironing. My wife's ironing stuff. Get in the car. I'm wearing shorts and a T-shirt in the car driving to St. Louis from just a 3.5 hour ride. About halfway, I stop at a McDonald's, change into the suit. I get there, and it's all right. You're here. Good. Let's go get pizza. I said, what? What's going on? I said, is there no interview here? Oh, yeah. It was supposed to be virtual, but since you came here, we're going to get pizza.
Oh, my gosh.
You said it was virtual. So I went there, had pizza. He said, the next one's going to be virtual. Listen to me. The next one's virtual. All right. So throw back here. And I got a call with the vice president of the organization. And she's like, yeah, it's great fit. And then they offered me the job. So, woo! Finally, I had broke the door. Exactly 365 days from hanging up to picking up. So it was a whirlwind, a transition for me. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, resilience for myself. My mindset changed a lot to thinking more positive forward. I was getting into a negative light for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to get out of that window and move forward. And it was during one of the Wounded Warrior Project events where I learned about CAL, actually, the Catch Lift program. And they wanted, I think at that time they were offering like a home gym or something like that. And I didn't really have room for that because my wife and I had 20-something years of crap in our house. There's not enough room for stuff. So I said a gym membership would be good. And so they put me on a list, and a little while later they called me and said, we got an opening and we have a new program where you're going to go, like, it's like a group of people in the area to work out together.
Yeah.
TRX sets, and you work out. And so we did that, and that was awesome. I actually worked out with one of my buddies from the Army. His wife was part of the group, and
that's
I
awesome.
Reunited with him after over 10 years. That's wow.
Oh my gosh. That's tremendous. Wow.
I said, this is a small world that we're finally back together.
Yeah.
And the thing after that, they got me a gym membership, and I was pumped up. I said, this is what it's about. And I just pushed that on everyone. I said, look, if you get opportunities like this, don't waste it.
Yeah.
I said, don't take things that there's donors out there providing this. They provide the money, the sponsorship funds for this.
Right.
You got to stick with it. You got to pump that chest. You need to go forward and do the right thing. And Cal really saved my mindset at that point, and helped push me to keep running. I'm a little slower now because I'm a little older. The knee injuries does come back now. I actually listen to it now. It's another mindset thing. I used to never listen to injuries. The mindset tells, hey, you got to pump the brakes, bro. You got to stop. Yeah. So it helped out a lot.
That's tremendous. Thank you for sharing that with us, Rich. Could you, tell us one or two things, Rich, anybody listening, any veterans in particular that are in a low point, they're kind of stuck in that negative self-talk or just negative light. Maybe it's been a lot of years since they've gotten out of service. What do you tell them to kind of get the wagon back upright and start moving forward?
One, look in the mirror. The first thing you do, look in the mirror. You can't blame anyone without looking at you. If you can't fix what's in front of you, you can't fix what's outside of you. You got to fix what's in your house first. So if you can fix what's in your face right there, right in your eyes, right there in that mirror, you can get out of your own way at that point. And like me, I think it was my hard-headedness that my resume was the best. My resume was the best. There's no way it was going to get picked up until Hire Heroes USA said, look, thank you for trying, and here's what it should look like. I said, awesome, great. But that's number one. Two, you got to stay positive. You can't let the negativity weigh you down. You can't fix things that happened before. You can always remember them, and don't do them again. You can stay forward and keep that positivity. Be resilient. You learned resilience in the military. You learned resilience through your mom and dad when you were growing up. You have it. You just got to turn that switch on. And if you can maintain that positivity, that positive mindset, keep moving forward, you can conquer all things in front of you.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that with us, Rich.
No problem.
So today you're pursuing your PhD.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Well, I got my bachelor's degree after 20-something years in the military. So January before I retired, I finally got my bachelor's degree.
Congratulations.
Then I took a couple years off. While I was with the Michigan Tigers, I said, I'm going to start my master's and go for emergency management, emergency and disaster management. So I applied to Georgetown University. I said, they didn't like Ashford. Georgetown's a real school. So let's go this one. So I went to Georgetown, and I loved it. I loved going. I was doing online. I met a lot of awesome people from around the country, a lot of very smart people in Homeland Security, emergency management. I said, this is great. And then someone told me when I graduated, there's no way you're good enough to go you don't have the work ethic to go for a PhD. And I said,
oh, geez, challenge laid at you.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 weeks later, I applied to Liberty, and I went through the process, and I got accepted. And yesterday I actually started my final 7-semester drive to dissertation. So I seen the course load for it yesterday. I was like, wow, this is going to be a challenge. It's going to be awesome. This is going to be a great ride. I just got to pick the right subject.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's terrific. And you're also writing a couple books. Is that correct, Rich?
Yes. One just got published right after we set this up. So it's right here. The 13-Step Guide to Success.
Oh, tremendous.
And it's on Amazon right now, both in Kindle and you can order to print there. So it's $15 for the print, and I think $3 for the ebook. So it's out there now. It came out just before Christmas, surprising myself.
Oh my! Wow! Congratulations, Rich. What's that feel like? I mean, you're holding the physical book now.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
My wife's copy. I had to take it from her to bring it in today.
Oh my gosh!
So it's here. I signed it for her, and just actually have it done. I was like, wow, I did something that I put my mind to. I set that goal and I did it.
Oh my gosh!
At the beginning of last year, I put a chalkboard in my office to commit to the Misfit Nation, which I started the podcast, started the website, and got that going. Stay active the whole year, which I did. complete my books. So I completed this one before the year was up. The other one, I keep going back and changing stuff. So it'll be probably the end of this year, but that one's finished. And that one's more of the journey of a soldier
Okay.
as he hits the end of that road, end of the line. He's on the top of that mountain, and he starts to dwell on his whole career, all the battles he's been through, the darkness that's in front of him that he's seen, and where does he go from now, and how does he move forward? So it's kind of a self kind of story, but also bringing in every character I've met in my life and bringing them into the book. And it feels great to have this actual one in print and out there and see my name. Oh, look at that's me there.
That's tremendous. Congratulations.
Thank
Absolutely tremendous. We'll make sure too we get down in the YouTube description and everything the link for your book on Amazon so everybody can check that out. Incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us, Rich.
No problem.
So, we touched on it. We saw kind of how the Misfit Nation came to be. If we rewind back to 2010 in Afghanistan, Rich, talk to us about the Misfit Nation podcast.
All right, the Misfit Nation podcast. Again, this was a challenge I gave myself about December last year. I said, you know what? I have about 8 hours left in my week with my schoolwork and real work. It's got about 8 hours left where I won't take it away from my family. I can do something else. So I said, let's start researching. I'm just going to make a podcast. I'll call it the Misfit Nation. That's who we are. And I started with just my computer. And I would do it actually, my phone was the Anchor app. You have to do off the phone at first. So I was just doing Anchor. I was doing a lot of recording in my Jeep. I was finding guests and recording while I'm driving in my Jeep. So, Jeeps are pretty loud. In my first episodes, the audio was horrible, but this message is there. My first two episodes, I had Chris Wemhoff, Raymond Bird, Chantal, who I talked about earlier, and George Herrera. So all four of them were misfits. George is a later misfit. The first three were with me in Kandahar. Okay. And we talked about how the misfits came about. And Raymond is one of my favorite people in the world. He's like my little brother. And I met him in December of 2010. That's when he came to the Misfits. And we've been close ever since. I made him run the Navy 10 nautical miler with me. Neither one of us knew that the Navy 10 nautical miler wasn't 10 miles. It was 11 miles. So we ran this thing, and I said, I don't know. Why don't they just stop lying and just say it's 11?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Because it's the Navy. And we did that, and we both have pushed ourselves to fitness throughout. Since then, we always challenge each other. Right now, we're on Peloton against each other all the time.
Heck yeah.
So he's in Carolina. I'm here in Tennessee, and we challenge each other. We keep close with our families. Chris is right down the block, still in the Army. And Chantel is up in she's in North Carolina now too. So we stay close. Most of the Misfits have stayed close since then, and it might not just have been losing Sergeant Beckerman that bonded us, but that's what solidified it. We were bonded before that. We did a lot of insane stuff in Kandahar, but that bonded us forever. That solidified that bond. Meeting Sergeant Beckerman's mom, going to see her in St. Louis when I was working out there, hanging out with her. Me and Bert actually met her. 2015 was the first time we met her. She came to Gatlinburg for a Gold Star event out there, and me and him were doing the Mountain Man Memorial.
Wow. Okay.
So we went up there and we met her. So the night before the march, we're sitting with her, and me and him are drinking, like soldiers and veterans do. Yeah. We're pounding liquor, and then we got a rough march 13 miles in the morning.
Oh, jeez.
We were not doing well when we started. We're going to do this, man. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
We pushed our way through it. We got to the end, and we had a good time. And that, again, was another part of that solidifying. Hey, we're going to be there for each other. We'll push each other through hardship and pain, even when it's hardship we put on ourselves by drinking the night before. But we made it through, and we've all stayed close. And she does a run walk in St. Louis that raises funds for the memorial for all the veterans there. And we help her with that with Team Beckerman as well.
That's phenomenal. Rich, for anybody listening that wants to tune in to the Misfit Nation, where can we find it? Where can we listen?
It is on all Audible platforms from Anchor, Apple, Google. It's on Amazon now, Stitcher. But you can go to my website, themisfitnation.com, and all the episodes are on there. And then we started a YouTube channel too. It's _Misfit Nation. One word, Misfit Nation. There's two Misfit Nations out there. One's a rap group and one's me. You can tell the difference between who's to who.
Yeah, we can probably figure that.
Ours will have this logo on it right here. So, and it's night and day between the two of them. So, but theirs is a little better quality put together. Mine's getting there as I learn. But I'm a one-man team right now, so I'm trying to get it out there.
That's tremendous. So, and again, kind of like, you've touched on this all so much, Rich, but there are so many people, like, they have different goals or dreams like that. Like, I want to write a book. I want to start a podcast. What do you tell them, Rich?
Yeah, a goal won't chase you. You have to chase the goal. If you have a dream, chase it. It's not going to come after you and bite you in the butt and say, "Here I am. I'm your dream. Do me." If you want to write something, write it. Just keep writing, and even if it's just writing it an hour a day, you have an idea, write it down because you will forget it. I mean, as you get older, you start forgetting things a little easier. But if you have that idea in your head, oh, we'll write that down. It might not be the first chapter. It might be a later chapter.
Yeah.
But you'll develop that book as you go. If you want to chase a dream of starting a podcast, get on a podcast group on Facebook. There's tons of them, and just sit in the background and watch what people say, how they do it, how they did it, what equipment they have. So I started out with my computer. I bought a little standalone toner mic, and then I bought a big toner mic, and then I have now I have a Rodecaster now. I have everything at the house. I have 3 microphones for one guy. So
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Rich, I have one last question for you today.
All right.
What does it mean to you to be a Catch a Lift veteran athlete?
Oh, it means the world. Having them come down here and come and embrace us here as veterans and show us a way to have a healthy lifestyle, or even get out of your own way to get to that healthy lifestyle. Getting in the gym here and having us work out together in that little wrestling gym first, and then actually in the gym. It really helped a lot. It helped me tremendously to get out of my own way. And my mindset became laser focused at that point. The things I can do in the gym, I can accomplish anything outside the gym. I go in the gym, I'll stay there forever until I sweat myself out, basically. But I'll work out, and the Catch a Lift Foundation really helped us all. Everyone that was in my group had made great strides from it, and we were all able to lead towards success after.
That's tremendous. Rich, I mean, I don't even know where to start. Thank you. First of all, thank you so very much for your service to our great country. Thank you so much for the service and what you continue to give back into our veteran community. It's absolutely tremendous. Thank you for taking the time with us today. Just an absolute pleasure.
No problem. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. That's it for this week's episode of Coach's Corner. We will return next Wednesday at 1 Eastern Time with another episode. Thank you again, Rich, for sharing your story and your light with us all today. Huge thank you to ID Technologies for your support of this podcast and all things Catch a Lift. Thank you to Lynn Coughlin, Henry Pomper, and Kaylee Nasiri for all of the work you do to make this podcast possible week after week. And we thank the entire Catch a Lift team. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday live at 1 Eastern Time on YouTube for a chance to win Cal Swag and to chat with your brothers and sisters. Until next week, keep it real and stay Cal strong.